Alright, hello and welcome everyone to the first cast of the second season of Alchemy League. This set features Alexander versus Ronald Rage. I have not watched these recordings, but I am confident that they'll both be competitive games. Alchemy League Season 2 is very different from Alchemy League Season 1. As many of you may know, the Alchemy AoE community is restructuring, and the procurement of custom maps is a very intense and well-defined process. It's not just, oh, me and my friends made these maps and now we're going to play them because one of us put up some money for it. We take pride in our ability to inspect maps, define what we need for maps, make sure that all of our boxes are checked, and we just did not have the time to do that for Season 2. We really wanted to do a space theme, but we just did not have the time to make that work out. We couldn't finish it all. So I made the hard decision to do standard maps for Season 2. And I had this new seeding system that I wanted to test out anyway. And in case the new seeding system didn't work, I didn't want to make the maps look bad, if people were frustrated with Alchemy League Season 2. But I think that this new seeding system will work out quite well, and we'll have the chance to see it unfold. I want to talk a little bit about the players. It's obvious that they're playing on Fortress. You start with a castle, so I mean, who's going to die in the Dark Age? If you die on Fortress in the Dark Age, then you are in a coma or you're doing something very, very wrong. If your opponent is in the Dark Age and can kill you. So let's take a quick look at the seeding, just because this matchup does seem familiar. Oh, whoops. Except we don't want this. There's always something that gets me. Here we go. We want casting. Alright, so this is a play all, and it's only 2 games. Prize pool is only $100. I said, I don't. We're gonna just go to. We're gonna call it the main stage because that's what it is. It's just a round robin. But oh no, I hit the wrong button, didn't I? Ah, shoot. Oh well. Well, so we're just going to restart and it'll be fine. Actually, maybe I'll fast forward a little bit, but I don't remember exactly where we were. I always hit the wrong button. Okay. So let's put it on 4x here, and we'll just restart, and I'll chat for a minute or so. It's not a big deal. We were just at the starting of the game. But I was going to say that I only put $100 toward it because it is not custom maps, and really the community tries to do custom maps, and we try to do them well, and we don't like to spend money on standard maps. So because I didn't want to spend a lot of money on standard maps, I decided it would also be a good opportunity to try out this best of 2, or play all 2, that many leagues find popular. They're like, we're only going to make you play 2 games. That's kind of weird, right? Because there's no tiebreaker. Somebody could win one and you could win the other if you're just playing 2 games. But 2 games is less than 3 games, so it's less work. So you don't need to offer as large of a prize if they're only playing 2 games. I know it's not exciting. Everybody likes the big prize pool events, but sometimes it can be good to just have a simple event where you just test a few things out. And so that's what we're doing here. Alright, I'm going to put it back on this normal speed now. And I'm going to go and talk about the players. So for Alchemy League Season 2, I said that I was developing a new system, and I will see if I can explain. All right, we're going to come over here to seeding a parent. So this is a group of people who all signed up for the league. They all provided a link to their AoE2.gg profile, and then I have a computer program that I wrote that will go, and the first thing that it will do is it will take that link and it will run it into the API of the Smurf database. And so that Smurf database will take things like shared accounts and maybe IP address as well, and it maybe has some other factors that I don't fully understand. It's kind of a magic black box, but it's pretty reliable, I think. And it'll feed it into that API, and the API will return all accounts that are associated with that one. Basically, which accounts are the same player. And so you could go through and you could get other Smurf accounts or alternate accounts in this manner. And then having access to all of those accounts, my actual number crunching API can work. And so it goes in and it pulls up data for each one of those accounts, and it basically adds it all together. And sometimes the data from other accounts doesn't affect our calculations because it's old or it's lower elo or something like that. It's just not, it's not relevant. But sometimes it does. So this is the list of players in the order of the tournament elo that it calculated. And the big takeaway here, as somebody's just advanced to the feudal age, I don't think anybody's. Let's check for the tower rush. No tower rush. Although Alexander is building an archery range and a market, so he may be planning some kind of crossbows, Castle Age crossbows, to come out here and secure relics. Guys, remember that Standard Victory is enabled for this, so you don't have to win using conquest. You can build a wonder, or you could just get all the relics. There are 4 relics on this side, and there's 1 relic right here. So the relics are reasonably balanced, I think. Ronald is feudal age. He's going to have the resources to click up to Castle Age pretty soon. He's just got to get his buildings. So, looks like they got themselves a little scout fight, but with the tower here, Ronald isn't going to win, so he has to withdraw. Alright, so anyway, let me see if I can wrap up what I was saying about this. So basically what it does is it goes in and it looks at somebody's entire ELO history, or at least the last 100 games of it. And you all know, we play games, we have good games, we have bad days. ELO can go up and down, win rate can go up and down, and basically what it tries to do is it tries to take the uncertainty and the fluctuation in somebody's performance over time and project or estimate like a maximum amount of fluctuation that could be seen for an event that lasts 8 games or 16 games or however many games are intended for that event. So you see all these min and maxes here. It's basically performing a tolerance sweep, and it's doing mathematics that basically say this is the worst case or the best case tournament ELO that it calculates. The tournament ELO calculation itself is the same as Season 1, but you can see now that we've introduced essentially these, with weighted averages and accounting for win rate and everything like that, which, by the way, no other tournament, no other community in Age of Empires does. We're special like that. And hopefully someday people will come to recognize that. The community at large will come to recognize the importance of that. But, yeah, it wouldn't be the first time I've done something really cool and nobody noticed, so that's fine. We'll just enjoy it ourselves. So anyway, it comes up with this minimum potential ELO that somebody could play as and this maximum. And you can see that there's a lot of overlap here, which can explain why somebody of a lower seed can beat somebody of a higher seed. That and fundamentally they could just have a good game, right? The science of ELO is such that even if you have 2 of the same ELOs, there's still a % chance. But this kind of underscores that even more. So then what we do is we take the 3/4 point, and that can punish somebody a little bit for having a big window here, right? Generally you have big windows if you have very strange behavior in your ELO history, like you have a sudden gain or a sudden loss, or but that's just the reality of how it is. So anyway, we took the 3/4 point because it punishes a little bit for this window, but it also I think is kind of fair. We need a single point because that is what we are ranking by, and all these players are ranked. Let's take a look at what they're doing here. They're both adding 2 town centers, it seems, and there's an archery range for Alexander and a monastery, so he's going to try to go for the relics. Alexander knows he played in the last. These guys both played in the last week. They both know that you can win by getting relics, and you don't want to just give your relics away. If you have access to relics, go get them. It's free gold later. They know the benefit of that long game. I do not see a monastery yet for Ronald. He does, however, have a bunch of houses, foundations placed. So he's not going to get housed anytime soon, which is something that happens to me all the time whenever I try to 3-town center boom. This is why I boom on 3 monasteries instead. Okay, pikeman upgrade. It's cheap. Well, it's actually not cheap. It's free if you're Ethiopian, so why not, right? Alexander's going to go out and send some pikemen because he probably believes that Ronald Rage is going to make light cav. But Ronald Rage has not built a stable yet. He is building a monastery. What could Ronald do? Actually, Ronald would probably make Chokunus to go and contest the relics, which I don't think is a good idea, actually. Maybe he wouldn't make Chokunu. I don't know what Ronald would make. I think he's just going to make monks. And he's just going to try to get them with monks. So the reason you don't want to make Chokunus is because they are a unique unit. And unique units are converted pretty easily by monks. Not all unique units are equal in this regard, but Chokunus are slow. Because they're just a guy walking around on foot. He's an archer. Like maybe a little bit faster than an infantryman. And the other thing is that they have low range. So they're not likely to be able to kill a monk before they can be converted. So Alexander is making archers from his archery range. He is deployed a pikeman here because he does not want Ronald getting this one. Let's take a look and see what they know. Alexander has... Actually, he's only found this relic. That's funny. It's the only relic he knows of, so that's why he's there. Oh, wait. No, he must have gotten a relic from over here, because I think we saw... Yeah. He got one relic that was over here. So he has not found these other three, actually. And let's take a look and see what Ronald's knowledge of the relics entails. Ronald knows of this relic. He probably knew of this relic, but then Alexander snagged it. And Alexander's heading back home with it. But you definitely want to get relics because it is standard victory. So, yeah, Ronald redeploying his monk here. So we go back, and so we basically, that leaves us with a list of players rated highest to lowest elo. And the way that the round robin works is I wrote a custom seeding algorithm that would basically match somebody against the 4 nearest people that it could. If you're the top seed, the people that you're matched against are here, here, and here. And if you're bottom seed, the people that you're matched against are here, here, and here. But as you go up, right, you have to start matching people that are further away. So it's actually not the closest, but it does work out so that everybody has, in our case, 4 matches for the first sprint of Alchemy League. And those 4 matches, it tries to pick the people that are closest to you as possible, while still allowing kind of the shape of making sure that everybody gets the same number of matches. It's really quite complex. And the thing is it could get even more complex if I maybe refined it. And then finally, if the people that it matches against are more than 200 elo higher than you, it'll give handicap to compensate for that difference. So if somebody's 300 elo higher than you, it'll give you 100 elo worth of handicap, and then they'll only be 200 elo ahead. So Alexander does not want Ronald's monk to escape. Ronald might lose that monk actually. He does. Alexander denies it. That's pretty impressive. Alright, now Ronald will come in here with the scout and he can kill this archer. Because it's just an archer. And Ronald has a scout. Scouts are good against archers. There's only one. So he's not going to be able to fight that off. So unfortunate for Ronald though that his monk and scout were both caught out of position. But he does have another monk here. And importantly for Ronald, he knows where this relic is. No, he doesn't. He's just randomly going over there. Because he suspects that that's where it might be. No. Wait, what is this? Okay, he's going to see it now. And does Alexander know of that relic? Alexander knows about this relic, but Alexander doesn't seem to have gotten it. Oh. This monk is not going to last very long. Alexander's sending troops, and Ronald doesn't know about it, but yeah, he's outclassed here. So Alexander's going to try to snag that relic as well. He's got a monk here. Let's take a look at their villager count. Ronald with 84 villagers and Alexander with 82. But Alexander making military and it's paying off. He's using it to get map control and to get these relics. Here is a Chokunu. There's no... Alexander still hasn't gotten his monk up there yet. Ronald did find this relic that was closer to Alexander, and he's bringing it back. Maybe just good instincts about relic placement on the map, because he hadn't explored it. Alright, Ronald getting a conversion, and he sent out 2 Chokunus. And unfortunately for Alexander, he didn't think to send his monk out here. If he did, he probably could have gotten the relic and gotten away. Where's Ronald's sneaky monk here? There it is. And the last relic is here, but I don't think either player has discovered that. Ronald hasn't found it, and Alexander has not found it. So Alexander has decided he's going to go up to Imperial Age, and it is time to build a bunch of forward buildings. Ronald actually clicked first, though, and he is just a few villagers ahead. Let's take a look at their relic situation. Relics, 2 for Alexander, 1 for Ronald, but Ronald's about to bring in this other relic, so that will be 2 for Ronald, 2 for Alexander. And maybe they'll give up on that final relic, I don't know. But I would give Ronald the relic advantage because the relics that he did get were closer to Alexander, and the relic that remains is kind of in this corner, which is closer to Ronald's town. So Alexander's forward base, here it is. Ronald knows about it, just found it. Finished off a monk, and then he saw that his scout was killed by the castle, so he knows that Alexander is going to start getting aggressive pretty soon. That's kind of common sense. These guys are both boomers. Alexander likes his scouts build, because I played against him. He likes to make scouts, and he likes to go into many things, and he likes to just build a bunch of town centers, and he likes to have lots of mobile units. Alexander loves mobility. But he picked Ethiopians this time, so he must not like it as much as I thought he did. Because Ethiopians are not a terribly mobile civ. So we are 25 minutes in. They are fully boomed in an Imperial Age. It makes sense. It's Fortress. You start with extra villagers. You start with a castle. So it gives you a little bit of a faster start here. So about Fortress. I picked Fortress over Arena because I thought that it offered a little bit more variety than Arena does. I don't necessarily want to say that it's the better map or that it's even the more strategically varied map. I don't know about that, but I picked it because we don't see it as often as Arena. There are entire tournaments that are built around just the map of Arena, and I love Arena. But I wanted to give Fortress a go here, especially because we don't even know how long it's going to be in the league. Every Sunday, starting not today, but next Sunday, I believe, I ban a map at random from the map pool. And so, although they're all standard maps, players start running out of options to pick. Didn't actually see what their global bans for civilizations were, but I suppose it's fine. As long as they communicate that to each other. I did not personally ban any civilizations for this league, but I gave each player 2 global bans that nobody could play as. So Ronald with the Trebuchet advantage is getting chemistry now. Are Choku News the right thing to make against Arbalisters? I don't think so. I think Arbalisters are more cost-effective in a fight against Choku News. Alexander may consider going into skirmishers. He's getting the archer armor now. Ronald is getting the final archer armor, and he just got chemistry. So the Chinese are very, very strong when it comes to chemistry. They do it in a different way, though. They don't make gunpowder units. They just make really, really hard-hitting archers, I think, is kind of the bottom line of it. Oh boy, here is a bombard cannon though. Ronald is going to have to be careful about that bombard cannon. He just wants to take down this castle, but he's going to have to retreat with his trebuchets. He'll need an answer to bombard cannons, and I don't know that he's got one yet. So now we're going to start seeing Ronald probably tech into light cavalry. He's got plenty of food. So, Ronald needs to do the pro-arena player moment and just have the trebuchets attack the bombard cannon. And he also needs to bring villagers to repair this trebuchet if he wants to keep it going. Because I think Alexander is smart here to do the cannons. I think that is the play long-term. Could be very effective against the Chinese. And Ronald hasn't really made a tech switch of his own. He doesn't really done anything to answer this bombard cannon. He lost quite a few Chokanus, and he lost 2 trebuchets. Still, nobody's found this relic back here. They probably think that the other one has it. That would be my guess. So they don't have any reason to look for it. What are the chances the relic will be in this corner of the map, right? Actually, Alexander... Yeah, he hasn't found it. His scout is over there, but he hasn't found it. So Ronald creeping forward with the castles. He sending another trebuchet forward. And Alexander is tech switching into Arbalester. That should be pretty good for him. Onagers are pretty good against Chokanus as well. Chinese do not get redemption, so they can't convert them. He does have a Mangonel here, and he just made another one, so this is telling me that he plans on getting Onager at some point, and Siege Onager would be pretty devastating against this. Ronald now going into the elite upgrade for the Chokanus. And Alexander's Onager research is incoming. Let's see, Ronald does not have a weapon against Onager. The best that he could do would be to make the trebuchet attack them. We thought about making Fortress Regicide by default, but I decided not to. It's fun to have a little king running around that everybody's trying to kill. Can be a great equalizer. So this is basically a question of, can Ronald Rage do enough damage and kill Alexander before Alexander gets the technology to counter him with siege weapons. He is taking some of Alexander's gold here. Alexander can't be too happy about that. He's sending other villagers out to do other things. I'm not sure what this is. He may be coming out here to these resources, but Ronald left an archer here to notify him if Alexander goes over there, which is smart. You know, this location specifically because there are resources here, and Ronald knows that there are resources here. So Alexander wants to put those villagers to work. He's housed, but he does have... Yes, Ronald using the trebuchets against the Onagers. But the Onagers are buying Alexander some time. Should make more of them. And Alexander should just delete these. Just not have to worry about the gate and getting stuck. So looks like we got, yeah. So Ronald knows that Alexander's come out here now. He is building stables on the side to raid any kind of development that Alexander wants to build out here. Got a mix of archers and skirmishers pushing back the Chokunu. And the trebuchet... Oh, alright, no, Ronald is going to pull back. He is now preparing the light cav that I predicted that he would. Light cav will help him snipe onagers. I'm not a fan of Ethiopians, just so you guys know, but I think that they could still be competitive in this situation with Pike Siege. If they went into Halberdier and like torsion engine bombard cannons instead of archers, I think it would have worked better. But either one of these guys could probably wreck me pretty effectively, so I wouldn't place too much faith in what I say. Alright, here come the onagers. These bombard cannons are waiting for them. And Ronald has his sights set on Alexander's starting castle. Alexander does have another castle here to help keep that corridor safe. He's building another one here to help him secure these resources. But Alexander can't really afford to let this castle go down. But Ronald's trebuchets are very many. And he has sniped one onager. I feel like Alexander could use a few more bombard cannons. But he's strapped for gold. And he's also strapped for stone. He's repairing this castle. Alright, this onager is attacking the trebuchets. Flattens one. Another one is close to death. He gets another. I think he's going to keep this castle up, which will be an important win for Alexander. He's getting Siege Onager now. Siege Onager, very expensive. Alexander has to be careful, because Ronald's Chokanus can easily flatten this Onager here, and he does manage to survive. Wow. That was a lot of trebuchets, too. Ronald could use... You know what Ronald could use? Ronald needs... Actually, doesn't even need petards. This is open. He needs a good raid on Alexander at this point, and I think that's what he's going for.
Wow.
He's got his light cav coming in this way. Let's check to see his armor situation. He's decently armored. He's coming in, and he's going to... He doesn't really have enough here to do anything. But the idea is there, and that's the important part, is that Ronald will get this idea that he can raid. Be a good answer. Actually, he's going to come over here and he's going to redeploy to this. So, he's got some light cav coming. Just going to kill a bunch of Alexander's villagers, which he absolutely needs. And, yeah, he's redeploying north. So Ronald recognizes this game is going to last a while. I need to keep Alexander off of these resources if I want to win. Because Alexander, now that he's up to Siege Onager, Alexander is not going to get killed unless he runs out of gold. It says Alexander has 41 on gold. Where? Does Alexander know of this gold down here? Hold on. I need to get it from Alexander's point of view. No, Alexander does not know that there's a gold here. He knows that there's a stone there. And he'd probably find that gold if he went to take the stone. But, yeah, it's going to be a gold contest here. Alexander making Shotel warriors. The Shotels could come out here and snipe these trebuchets pretty effectively. Ronald wants this gold for himself, which makes a lot of sense. So now that these Shotels are here, they're going to come over here and they're going to rush these trebuchets. Ronald's Chokanu are not in the correct position. So, okay, he did manage to destroy the castle, but he's going to lose these trebuchets. Ronald should just build a town center here. Because these Chokanu are capable of killing every single one of these villagers. He needs to do something. Alright, Alexander's army has pushed Ronald back. He's destroyed this castle. This gold he could probably take now. And he probably would want to take it too. Ronald building more siege workshops. I would love to see siege rams from Ronald. And I think he's moving in that direction. Ronald knows that siege rams are game-ending units. He's got plenty of resources. He just doesn't have the population efficiency of these siege onagers. Very devastating. The siege onagers could flatten an entire army of Chokanuns with ease. He needs to be extremely careful. The game is shown in slow motion. I think that's how Ronald feels about it right now as well. He's kind of playing in slow motion, trying not to get flattened by these SO. The trebuchet are rolling forward. I'm going to start working on Ronald's castle. Okay, Ronald did end up building a town center here, which is the right thing to do. Uh-oh, Ronald, no, not like this. Okay, he heads back. Alexander does not appear to have gotten siege engineers, which is very unfortunate. In fact, I don't even think he has a university. Ronald has raided Alexander over here. He's Ronald Raid instead of Ronald Rage. Alexander, though, still has a healthy villager count, but the big thing is that a large fraction of those villagers are not working. He's got 41 villagers here, and he hasn't realized it yet, because he's busy trying to micro and flatten this ball of archers, which who can blame him? I know I would want to do that. Oh, split. slow motion because my computer cannot handle the capture age. There's one more siege onager here. We got all these slings and arrows from. Okay, Alexander does manage to keep the siege onager alive, and therefore these archers have to withdraw. He's probably going to make more. He's making a bombard cannon instead. Okay, here's the university. Does he get siege engineers finally? No, I think siege engineers, he would have destroyed this actually. He's going to come out here to repair something. I'm going to repair this. Oh, he does not get the shot off though. That is unfortunate for Alexander. Still got these idle villagers here. Ronald's raid goes very well. He is building stables in the back of Alexander's base, though. Does Ronald does not know about that gold either. Alexander doesn't know about the gold. He knows about the stone. Alexander's army is about to be vanquished here, and I'm thinking this is Ronald's game. The Chinese, they're such a strong civ. And Ronald knows how to play them well. The moral of the story is Ronald was able to do sufficient damage to Alexander early on to win him the game against the siege. Ethiopian siege is better, but Alexander just seemed to never have enough of it. He was always getting raided, always getting pushed around, always repairing castles, always denied from his golds, and that kind of stuff adds up, and it can overcome civilization and advantages. So there's nothing Alexander can do to stop this castle from going down. The light cav will destroy this siege onager, which will not have the chance to stop these siege rams. I think Pike Siege would have been the play, but it's kind of counterintuitive for Ethiopians to go Pike Siege. I mean, what? I'm an archer civ. I should be making archers. But when you're up against something like this, and they basically fought over the same stretch, you know, 40 by 40 space of tiles for most of the game. I guess there was one case where Ronald came up here and destroyed Alexander's castle. But it was the siege rams that did it. I swear by siege rams. They are a game-ending unit. Just have a way of bulldozing through and destroying buildings. Alexander now going into barracks, though. So he's got... I think he does want to go infantry now. Maybe to make Halb to keep these light cav off, if I had to guess. But I think it's too late. Ronald's back here. He's over here. Alexander has 12 military to Ronald's 81. He still has 100 villagers somehow. Ronald building a castle here to fortify that location. And Alexander calling the GG. GG, well played. It was a good game. It was fun to watch. Ronald playing the Chinese really well. He's not letting the Ethiopians get to the unstoppable siege onager and Shotel army comp that they love to do. It could have been different. I don't really think either player made many mistakes. It looked like Alexander didn't have siege engineers, which I think would have really helped him in this battle here with the siege onagers. Because they were just, the Chokunos were just barely out of their range. But I suppose we'll never know. So let's go and watch the second game now. Start watching. And Ronald will play as the Britons and Alexander will play as the Georgians. So we got a desert version of Highland. That's fun. So Highland was originally like inspired by Scotland or whatever, but now we've got this river, single crossing. Single crossing. Yeah, Highland is not very popular, I think, because it's very campy. The people love maps where it's like, oh, here I am with my 3 archers, and I'm gonna run into your town, and I'm gonna win a game that way. And okay, fine, I get it. That can be a good way to win some of the times, but sometimes it's nice to have this walled off and to build a wonder in the corner and try to win that way. I like seeing that kind of variety. And I think Highland is fine for standard maps. I think for Conquest, I think maybe those folks would be right. Maybe it's less competitive because it's you limit everything to this choke point. But that's okay. It's okay to have that kind of variety. So, as the Georgians, Alexander, I believe, starts with a mule cart. To be honest, I don't know much about the Georgians. So we'll have to see what he does. I know that they get all kinds of fortified churches and castle bonuses. I think it costs them half as many resources to repair. And they also have cavalry. And Ronald just going for the classic Britons on Hideout here. I don't actually know who picked Hideout and who picked Fortress, but it doesn't really matter. What matters is that we're going to get some good games. Now, the Britons have fought in the Highlands before, to varying degrees of success, but they haven't fought in desert Highlands. So, we'll have to see what they do. Alexander pushing his deer in. This is telling me that Alexander wants a really fast feudal into scouts. He wants to make this a quick game. He wants to get in there and damage Ronald Rage with scouts. And he does not want the wall off and the wonder. I've beaten Alexander with a wonder victory before. It was actually pretty funny. It was in Alchemy League Season 1, and we were playing on Wasteland by BP Dredge. So, I don't know. I don't know who picked this map. I don't know what their plan is. Maybe that's why it does matter a little bit. Maybe I should be more curious. Oh well. It's fine. Look at this huge forest here, you guys. Like, look at it. Be easy to wall that off. Plenty of wood on Highland. Yeah, it's like Arabia, but with a river running down the center, and only one set of shallows. So Alexander has been greedily pushing deer. He hasn't done so much exploration. Oops, that's Gaia's point of view. Let's see if we can look at it. He is alright. He's come over now, and he's looking for Ronald because he does plan on being aggressive. He's going to find Ronald's golds. He sees that Ronald is taking in a boar, which should be no surprise. Sees there's a villager here, and Ronald gets that boar, and okay, he is loomed. Ronald's loomed as the Britons. Maybe he got housed once, and he had to get loomed. I'm not really sure why Ronald got loomed that early, actually. He has a gorgeous base, in terms of walling. If he can't wall up here, he could still wall his main base pretty effectively. He could build a house here and like a couple palisade segments, and another house here and another couple palisade segments, and this is completely closed off. The big thing is that this hill is somewhat oppressive. But Ronald is going to come forward now, and he's going to play the long game. I would love to see Ronald get mass longbows. I think that would be pretty hilarious. But maybe he won't do it. I'm not sure. Alright, so barracks coming up for Alexander. Ronald headed over this way. Is this supposed to be a sneak villager? And Ronald just doesn't realize? I think that... Oh, this is a sneak villager. This is a sneak villager, you guys. Alexander going to take 10 gold and then head back home. Oh, this is going to be fun. So Ronald is ahead of game. Why not take a chance with a sneak villager like that? What would make it more convincing is if he walled off here like he didn't want to fight.
Yay?
We'll see what Ronald does with this sneak villager. I'm very curious now. Maybe Ronald sort of recognizes he doesn't really need to wall. Okay, Alexander is building a stable very forward. So Alexander wants to play this like Arabia. He does not want to play Highland. So Ronald actually laming some of Alexander's sheep this way. He needs to be careful, because if he sends the sheep forward, then I don't believe that Ronald knows that Alexander has anything. So if he sends these sheep forward, Alexander could capture them and then be skeptical about how the sheep got there, and then maybe become suspicious. Where is Ronald's scout? Okay, his scout is in here checking out the town center. So Ronald knows where the town center is now. He's on his way up to the feudal age, and he's like, okay, well, if the town center's over here, then I need to turn around and I need to come back. And I need to not be so close, because I'll be discovered if I'm that close. So Alexander is going to dock now. Ronald is walling off to his town center. He's not that worried about Alexander's scout rush. To be fair, I don't think that Ronald has any idea that Alexander is doing the scout rush. But to be fair, he should have an idea. He should know. He should be like scouting his opponent to see what he's up to. But Alexander, strangely, for whatever reason, built his buildings up here. So, okay, Alexander, what is Alexander doing with these sheep? These sheep are not these sheep. I don't know. I don't know how these sheep came to cross these shallows. I don't know. There's so many things I don't understand. Why is Alexander sending sheep toward Ronald's side of the map? But Alexander has invested in the scouts. He wants to dive. Being chased away by the spearmen. Ronald investing minimally into walling. And he's just got this sneak villager is just still back here waiting. So I don't know what the waiting villager is going to do. I get the feeling that if this villager were intended for feudal age aggression, that it would have built something by now. But I don't know. I think it'd be pretty ballsy to build a castle back here. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe that's Ronald's plan. So Alexander has made 4 scouts. Yeah, okay, he's going to make another. He's investing into fishing.
Yay.
And he's walling out his gold. He's got another gold back here, so doesn't really have to worry about it. He wants to keep these scouts out of his wood line, but Alexander's determined at this point. He's going to have to withdraw from this wood line. I'm not really sure how that low HP villager escapes. That's pretty crazy. Now, she becomes a farming villager, if you ask me. She's demoted to farming because she's too weak to be out there on the wood line. She's got 2 of them, actually, that are very similar health. Ronald, why would you just send the villagers back to work like that? Doink, dead. So their villager goes down. Probably going to get another villager go down for Ronald. Like, the scouts just ran this way, and Ronald wasn't the least bit curious as to where they went, or that they might come back. I think Ronald has some pretty crazy plans. Alright, he's built a stable. Ronald does not have the resources to go up to the next stage. I don't really know what that was. What? So, let's take a look at the Eco KD here. Ronald losing 2 villagers in the feudal age, which I suppose is kind of a big deal. I don't know. I don't know. Seemed like Ronald's map was pretty wallable. Didn't have to be that way. So, tied score. Alexander winning quickly. And they are 1-1. So they'll be loaded into the league performance tracking in that way. I think Ronald had some kind of sneak plan, but it didn't quite work out because he underinvested into building walls and defending himself. I think that's kind of my takeaway from this game. Dang, I was hoping for the mass longbows. All right, maybe next time. Maybe next time. All right, thank you everybody for tuning in. That's going to do for me today. It's just a Play All 2 set, and I'm looking forward to seeing more recordings make their way into the Recorded Games channel. So, we'll catch you guys later. Thank you everybody for watching. We'll see you soon.